That's what the planning board did? What is all this?
The planning board didn't approve all these. If you look at their recommendation letter, they only approved some of these. Right here, what's highlighted is the only ones they recommended the town council. All this shit. They didn't recommend that. I'm not including it in my motion. I'm sorry. I just worked on it today during my.
Well, hey. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
I can, yeah. I don't know who this is.
If it's in yellow, and it's gonna be 3 different.
They have like
There you are, sir.
How
Good
you
to
doing?
see you. I'm
crosses
well.
on, so-
You're doing well.
Here, these are Chuck's recommendations.
Hey,
And then when you
how you doing, buddy?
see and planner recommendations.
Leaving again?
No, food coloring.
Yeah.
I got my water bill today, and it was $111.
Get my copy of that?
And I called Chris, and she said, I got a leak, so I got some food coloring, and I put it in
What?
home before I came, and one of them definitely leaked. It was like already out in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, I done went through every.
I looked down, I had it all in my hands. I was like, dang, man.
And while I was there, I went on the red.
Like another axe murderer.
I know.
It's good that you do that, because we're gonna update that.
I guess I'll be going home putting a flapper on tonight.
Well, in my opinion, that may
I
not be.
put a toilet
Hello,
in
Mayor.
about a
As
month
much as I
ago.
would like to, I cannot
Put a new
make the
toilet
town
in not long
meeting
ago.
tonight. Please note, there's
Set
nobody
that on,
scheduled
it
for the
broke,
invocation.
the whole, the
You can move
tank
the
broke, slung back on,
remove
tank
the
broke.
Perry, got it.
It was a mess, buddy. She didn't know what to do, she panicked.
Tim will not be with us. I'm ready if you're ready.
It was, you know, it was a name brand, it was where they put in Kohler or something, they put in, bought the house. I guess the bolts had just gotten tight and rusted.
You don't make them like you used to.
No.
I'm ready. Jimmy's got my ginger for me. Good evening. It's 7 p.m., November the 13th, 2025. This is a regular town council meeting of Stokesdale, North Carolina. Call it to order, please. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Rigsby is going to give us our invocation this evening.
Please let us pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come into the season of Thanksgiving, please remember those that need your sight and your hand and your love on top of them. Please pray for all those that are struggling with housing and food issues right now, and our military and law enforcement. Amen.
Amen. If you would review review the agenda, I would like to remove one item. It's item number 13, consideration of Teresa Perriman public information. If there's no objection, we will remove it. Is there any other change?
Mr. Mayor, could I make a point of clarification for one
Yes,
of
sir.
my agenda items? It's item number A.
A,
It's the consideration of contract award for NC 65 and Coldwater Road water main. I'd like to break that out into kind of two different sections. So we'll call 11A the construction contract. And then, if needed, 11B is the construction management services contract. It just might add a little clarity to the two different votes.
objection, that will be changed. Mr. Jones will not be with us this evening. So there are the four of us this evening. I have a consideration of proclamation honoring Representative John Blust. Take a little mayoral license here. The mayor in our town has no more responsibility, I shouldn't say that, has no more authority than any of the other council members. The mayor in this town conducts meetings, signs documents with the council's permission to encumber the town to contracts and whatever else. But the one thing is that the mayor has a chance to make proclamations, and that authority rests with the mayor. It's an honor and a privilege to make the following recognitions. This council seated before you has had many accomplishments in the last 4 years. Possibly the most significant is the return to the town a portion of the sales tax revenue generated within our town. This revenue has been denied for us for over 20 years, and primarily because of this, and previous town councils have avoided imposing a property tax on our citizens. I can honestly say, due to the efforts of the town council, along with the efforts of the town council, along with the counsel of the town attorney, Chuck Winfrey, we collectively have succeeded where previous councils were not able to succeed, regaining a source of revenue for our town and its citizens. Most importantly, this may never have happened had Councilman Tim Jones not made an original phone call to Representative John Blust. With that said, proclamation honoring Representative John M. Blust by Mayor Mike Crawford in the town of Stokesdale, North Carolina. Whereas the town of Stokesdale recognizes the importance of strong, principled leadership in the North Carolina General Assembly, especially in matters that directly impact small towns and rural communities across our great state. And whereas Representative John M. Blust, serving the 62nd District of North Carolina, has consistently demonstrated an unwavering commitment to conservative values, fiscal responsibility, and the empowerment of local governments. And whereas during the 2025 legislative session, Representative Blust sponsored and championed House Bill 305, Session Law 2025-87, a landmark piece of legislation that promotes fairness to sales tax distribution for municipalities in Guilford County, including those that do not levy ad valorem taxes. And whereas House Bill 305 ensures that small towns like Stokesdale receive a more equitable share of the local government sales and sales tax revenues, thereby strengthening our ability to provide essential services, invest in infrastructure, and support community development. And whereas Representative Blust's leadership in this bill reflects his deep understanding of the challenges faced by small municipalities and his dedication to ensuring that all communities, regardless of size, are treated with fairness and respect in state policy. And whereas his efforts have earned the gratitude of local leaders and residents alike and serve as a model of good conservative governance rooted in fairness, accountability, and local empowerment. Therefore, I, Mike Crawford, Mayor of Stokesdale, do hereby proclaim March 5th to be observed annually as Representative John M. Blust Day in the town of Stokesdale, North Carolina, and urge all citizens to join me in recognizing and celebrating Representative Blust's outstanding service, leadership, and advocacy for small towns across our state. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Stokesdale to be affixed on this 13th day of November, 2025. John, if you step forward. Council, if you step around for me. John, we are very, very proud.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And our proclamation.
Thank you.
Robbie, if you would. Go enjoy your meeting. Quote the
Making a
Cowardly Lion. It was on the other night, and I watched a little bit of it, and at one point it just speechless.
Mike, you mind if I say something?
Oh, you certainly may. I'm sorry I didn't give everybody a chance to. Please do.
Senator Blust, I want to say I really appreciate it. Yeah, this has been going on a long time, trying to get that sales tax money back. And most representatives never had the willpower or the whatever to do what you did. And it looked like you was going to get shot down. You just kept fighting and got it through. And you know how much I appreciate it. We should be able to, unless somebody goes crazy, continue on with our no property tax in Stokesdale for quite some time. And it's because of your efforts. We've been told by other representatives, you need to tax your citizens and just different things to get that money. So a lot of people don't realize in order to get that sales tax money, you have to tax your citizens under one of the avenues to do that. And that's what we get from county commissioners. You need to tax your citizens. And I'm thinking, why do we need to tax the citizens to get tax money we should be getting anyway? But and I know it's a lot of other people that's not here that would appreciate it, and a lot of folks probably won't ever know, but if they did, they'd appreciate it. We'll try to let everybody know that you did it. You deserve to get back in there some more. I'll vote for you as long as you're trying to get there.
Yep.
Okay, let's review and adopt the following minutes. I make a motion that the minutes for July the 10th, 2025, regular town council meeting be adopted. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have discussion. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
And I am aye. I make a motion that we adopt the town council meetings for September the 11th, 2025. Do I have a second?
You do?
Discussion. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
And I am aye. I make a motion that we adopt the regular town council meeting minutes for October the 9th, 2025. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir. Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy? Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
And I am aye. Public safety report, Stokesdale Fire Department. Robbie, I don't believe we have anyone here representing our fire department.
Yeah, I'll be glad to
Would you
speak
mind?
on that. Yes. Yeah, Chief Galton with the Stokesdale Fire District, he had emailed me today and gave me the numbers for the report. So again, this is the report from the Stokesdale Fire District. For medical-related calls, there were 38. For fire-related calls, there were 9. And for other incidents, there were 42, which totals 89 incidents for the month of October.
And we have a Guilford County Sheriff's Office report. Would you mind recapping that for us?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So this is provided by Sergeant Ryan Seals of the District 1 Office of the Guilford County Sheriff's Department. For the month of October, the Sheriff's Office responded to 152 calls for service within the Stokesdale town limits, resulting in 10 case reports. Of note, on 10/28, 2 subjects attempted to break into the down 420 lane store downtown with an axe during the early morning hours. The Sheriff's Office has posted a video of the incident to the department and the Greensboro-Guilford County Crime Stoppers page in an effort to generate a lead on the case. And then for calls by type, this is the type of call upon initial dispatch. Call nature often was changed after further investigation. Numbers noted on the map indicate multiple calls for service in the same location. 2 disturbance, 23 alarm, 10 domestic, 1 weapons offense, 1 warrant, 2 drug, 4 fraud, 2 missing persons, 16 traffic, 1 motor vehicle theft, 3 noise violation, 2 accident, 61 other, 20 suspicious, 2 vandalism, 1 theft, 1 trespassing, 1 burglary, 1 simple assault, 3 drug violations, all other offenses 4, and larceny, all other 1. And that's everything for the Sheriff's Office report.
All right, sir. Next, we move on to administrative reports. Robbie, do you have your administrative report, please, sir?
Yes, sir. So for the administrative report, I'll start with the water system report. This is prepared by Mrs. Priscilla Hunsucker, our water system customer service manager. We've had 3 water meters installed, 39 water meters in stock, 6 applications for transfer of service and water meters in, 16 water meters and applications on hold for builders, 10 work orders, 67 NC811 locates, 897 water bills mailed out, and 10 reservations or rentals. A lot of this information within the admin report is, it's already in everybody's packet. So if there's any questions regarding any of these items, I'll be glad to speak on them. Most of these items, at least for the The water system side will be discussed later this evening. A lot of that has to do with Coldwater Road Waterline Extension Project. So Hazen and Sawyer has some representatives here that'll be glad to bring an update on that. One update that I would like to highlight is last Monday I was invited to attend the pre-construction meeting at the school and at Stokesdale Elementary School. Hugh Creed and Associates are the engineering firm that are overseeing the projects there to enhance the, I guess enhance isn't the right word, to improve the parking situation there. And so the good news is they've started working on that. They've moved the fence at the water tower back 10 feet. That was done today. And so now they'll work on widening the road and repaving. And my understanding is once they start, it'll take less than 45 days to finish. So that should be done very quickly.
Very good.
What's the status of the stoplights? Do you have any?
So at that meeting, NCDOT was asked about that. They didn't have an update at that time, but they did say that that the stoplights would be installed by their people, their in-house, and that it was still happening, just no updates as to when they would be there.
Do you have anything for the planning board?
Yeah, I do. So I'll be glad to speak on that. So this is our planning board report. So a lot of this you'll cover during the public hearing. But just know that on Thursday, October the 23rd, during their regular meeting, the planning board held a very similar public hearing. That public hearing was to consider the recommendations proposed to the Stokesdale Development Ordinance. And they have prepared a letter of recommendation and provided that to the council for your consideration during the public hearing tonight. And just as a reminder, the next regular planning board meeting will be Thursday, November the 20th at 7 o'clock p.m. here in this room. And that concludes the planning board report.
Very good. Mr. Reesby, do we have anything on the property?
We do not, other than I did attend the, which I think many of you did as well, the trunk or treat, and the lights were on and off, based on the event. But it seemed to be a great event, and the lights, man, I had a couple compliments on the lights when they were on and how great they look. So just that's mainly it.
Mr. Blust, Representative Blust commented on driving in tonight, how bright they were and how well the field evidently is being used. So that's great. One thing I would mention, it appears that the building could probably use a pressure washing. Don't know if that's on anybody's agenda, but just in looking at it, having stood out here for a day, it looks like it could use some attention in several,
Weary eyes or?
in several,
It was a long
my
day.
wise eyes.
That's a long day right there.
That was a long day.
It is.
That
It's
was a long day.
with the
No
wind
problem.
burn, but we will definitely look into it. I think we
If
need
you
to
would,
look at mulch as well while we're doing that. So.
Mr. Stevenson, do we have anything from the Town Improvement Committee? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Good evening. Just real quickly, we did not have a meeting of the committee last month and do not have one currently scheduled for the coming month, but did want to report that the 20 drift roses have been installed now, so that completes the fencing project that we did undertake earlier in the year. I did meet with a contractor this afternoon to get some information on replacing the door on the bulletin board, and hopefully we'll get some idea of his recommendation in the next day or two. So real pleased with that. And certainly that kind of concludes the Park Improvement Committee report, but I did want to give a quick update on the Christmas parade, if that's okay.
Sure.
The Christmas parade is scheduled for December the 13th. The parade will start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We will have a candy cane lane, again, starting at 11 o'clock, and that will be at the front lawn of the United Methodist Church here in Stokesdale. So far, we've got real good response to our sponsors. We've got 15 sponsors lined up already, and I believe that figure for those sponsorships is right at $4,000. We have 3 additional sponsorships that are in the mail, confirmed that they have been put in the mail, and that's an additional $1,250. And so far, we've got 19 participants signed up for the parade and an additional $275. So to date, we have monies that are totaling $55.25. And again, we still are accepting applications for the participation. The sponsorships are kind of officially closed today. just waiting for the stuff to come in the mail. But definitely looking forward to it, and hope to see everybody there. Hope for good weather.
That's right.
Any questions from anyone? Comments, concerns?
Thank you, T.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Thacker is not with us this evening, so Robbie, falls to you with the financial reports, please.
Yes, I'll be glad to go over those. So these were the notes that Ms. Thacker provided me with here. So I'll go over her highlighted items. For the Bank of Oak Ridge CDARS, we have $3,066,840.75. The total investment earnings, interest earned for the fiscal year to date for the general fund is $37,784.95, of which $9,779.77 is for the month of October. Under the accounts receivable, we have a shared overhead expense for October reimbursement of $16,973.48. The total fiscal year to date shared overhead expense totals $37,819.84. The total accounts receivable for October is $18,059.43. Total assets, that is the general fund, including accounts receivable, is $3,216,941.71. During the October Town Council meeting, the Town Council requested to move $100,000 from the general fund to a CDAR. This was moved into the Bank of Oak Ridge money market account to hold, and then was transferred to a CDAR for 2 years at a 3.25% rate. The ARPA fund balance is $9,100.11, and that is the federal ARPA fund. The audit for the fiscal year of '25 is underway. The auditors, that being Cindy Randolph and her team, they came to the town hall on October the 29th and started the audit before leaving. They did state that everything looks great and that Cindy would be presenting the audit at the December the 11th Stokesdale Town Council meeting. Any questions on the general fund?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I'll move over to the water enterprise. For the Bank of Oak Ridge, CDARS, we have $1,634,511.15. The total investment earnings, that's the interest earned this fiscal year to date for the water enterprise, is $27,758.81, of which $6,937.36 is for the month of October. Under the accounts receivable, water sales, including active and inactive, totals $43,737.06. That includes the October billing. Active 90-day past due accounts, 0 at $0. Inactive 90-day past due accounts, 0 at $0. Total assets of the Water Enterprise Fund are $3,070,527.61. The total accounts payable for October is $77,797.89. And Ms. Thacker wanted me to remind everyone that she will be attending her finance officer's course next week, so she won't be readily available, but if you need her, feel free to call or send her an email. That's everything.
Thank you,
sir.
Robbie.
Yes.
Thank you, Robbie. We'll open it up for public comments. I would ask that you please limit it to 3 minutes each. We have with us Paul Holst, is that correct?
That's correct. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Paul Holst. I reside at 5411 Torrey Hill Drive down in Greensboro. Soon be moving to Stokesdale, though.
Welcome.
I'm here on behalf of Coldwater Development, and I'd like to speak to you all with regard to the non-resident water charges that we just became. A little bit of background, very briefly. When we conceived of this project back in 2019, we considered the possibility of either a community well system or, after talking with the town of Stokesdale, extending their water system up to our property about almost a half mile up Coldwater Road and through into Forsyth County outside the jurisdiction. One of the major concerns when we did that was there was some discussion in council about charging a premium to those residents who were not inside the town limits. At the December 2020 hearing to approve the extension of that water, we gained a unanimous support from the council to charge the same rates to our customers as residents. And until very recently, I didn't know that there had been any vote to increase. Apparently, we were informed by a water customer who resides in Coldwater that he got his bill and was astounded at how much it was. He did a little investigation, talked to a town representative, was told that's what the 30% increase was what the developer negotiated. When I was apprised of this and I called over to ask about it, I was told, we didn't get any notice, we weren't invited to any hearing, and I was told that the notice of the increase to non-residents was published on the reverse side of the water bills. That wasn't true either. And I'm here because we invested $500,000, upwards of $500,000, to extend that system up there. We feel like we've done everything we've promised. The town is now preparing to tap onto the extension that we made at our expense, which was the whole idea. That was the whole idea. We were told at the time that expanding the water system was good for the health of the system and it would facilitate town growth. And it was on that basis, and with the understanding that the rates were going to be the same for our customers, that we told our customers that the town is going to provide water and it'll be at the same rates as residents. 3 members of this board right here were a part of that unanimous vote back in December of 2020 to extend it at the same rates. I feel like this is a matter of good faith and integrity, and I would have a hard time saying that this council has that demonstrated that. We have an annual HOA meeting coming up in early December. This is going to be a hot topic of discussion now that it's known what has transpired. I would also add that the initial water service that was put into service was an irrigation meter that the Homeowners Association applied for and got. That service is wholly in the town of Stokesdale. It's on the Guilford County side of the development. It serves land that is wholly within the town of Stokesdale, and yet we've been charged the 30% premium rate. So it's over $2,000 that we have paid without realizing that there was this water increase.
Let me understand, if I may.
Yes, sir.
What you're asking us to do is reconsider the current charges.
That's
okay.
correct.
I think that's clear in your statement.
Okay.
I'm going to need to rebut after he gets through.
Okay.
I think
I'd like to give him as much time as possible. I agree with very little.
Okay.
No, I think I've
Please
said my
proceed.
piece. The only thing that I would add to that was when the increase was voted upon in October of 22, not even 2 years after the previous action, we weren't notified, we weren't invited, we weren't talked to. The discussion that occurred at that meeting, we had the opportunity to watch it on YouTube, and the discussion was we could go even higher with this rate, and that we better enact this before the residents start tying on and they see this 30% increase. And the justification was that there are over 300 jurisdictions in North Carolina that have water systems that charge premiums to non-residents. I'm wondering how many of those jurisdictions issued a pledge to provide water at resident rates and then reneged. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and I certainly expect a response.
First, Mr. Holst, very familiar with the Coldwater development. It's a beautiful development. You've done great work there. With respect, I don't agree with a lot of what you're saying. You're referencing the December 2020 meeting. I remember it vividly. I think it was done online because of COVID. I don't think we actually met here in the chambers. The discussion at hand, that meeting, was to permit your development, because it was in Forsyth County, to tie on to the town of Stokesdale's water system. During that meeting, we also had an outside jurisdictional rate discussion in that, but no pledge was ever made that you could tie into the water system. A vote was taken, and it was unanimous to allow this neighborhood to tie into the town of Stokesdale water system, but no pledge was made that there would not be any outside jurisdictional.
Would you like to see the resolution?
A resolution?
The resolution that was passed at that meeting that says we're going to be charged non-resident rates, or resident rates. I'll be happy to provide it.
Please do. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Holst, this is not a resolution. This is this is a letter from the town clerk that said, I'm going to read it out loud, I think. Following a public hearing on December 10th, 2020 and December 13th, 2020, the town of Stokesdale voted to approve the rezoning case number at the address off Coldwater Road based on Guilford County Planning Staff's recommendation of minimum lot size of 40,000 square feet. Natural buffers along the perimeter roads and entrances to the development, protection along creeks and waterways, plan for interconnected residential development through street and trail links. Stokesdale's Town Council also agreed by unanimous vote to sell water to Coldwater subdivision outside the county limits of Forsyth County at the same rate Stokesdale citizens inside the town of Guilford County pay. I acknowledge that's what that said, but that's not what that vote was for. And you know, if it was, an outside jurisdictional rate is something that's very common. There are 284 utilities, municipalities in this state that charge an outside rate. And that premium can vary from 1% to over 300%. We're 30%. So there's 239 municipalities that charge a premium that's greater than that. Why would the state legalize something like that? It's because we have no taxing jurisdiction or authority over that development. It's not part of the town of Stokesdale. So what we're doing is very common. We've got a water system to manage, and certainly that a premium is just that part of doing business. And I don't think 30% is enough. So
I know you don't.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. If
Right.
I may respond, and with all due respect,
Please do, sir.
I took that as a commitment. Whatever this paper is, this is a representation of the vote that night, and it included that provision with regarding resident water rates. Now, I don't doubt that you all have the right. That is perfectly legal. To me, again, it's a matter of good faith, what you all represented to us, and integrity. That's what it is. You can reverse it, Mr. Foy, but it's wrong. It's not right. It's not fair.
Why do you say that?
Because you made a commitment. This
We
town
didn't make
made a commitment.
We didn't make a commitment.
I'm sorry?
This is not a commitment from the governing board.
Okay.
Never to raise the rate for any water customer outside this jurisdiction. Why would we ever make such a commitment? That would be dangerous. Yeah, I mean that doesn't make sense. And I understand that.
Well, you voted for it.
What was the motion, Robbie? December meeting of 2020.
I remember voting for it myself, but I don't remember voting for that. I'll have to go back and listen to the.
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
But yeah, I'll tell you exactly what happened too, because I didn't want to do it. And we've since then changed it. We don't sell outside our jurisdiction. But the mayor, I guess you got with the mayor or whoever, I don't know if it's you or who, and the mayor almost made a commitment without us even doing anything. I don't even know that we wanted to do it, but we went on and did it because the mayor I guess he almost promised it. Am I correct?
Let's clarify that. The mayor at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't him. But, you know, I know there was some discussion about the rates, and at that time, that's what we were gonna do, but no, I don't think it was anything said. I'll go back and listen to it and be fair with you, but, I don't ever remember. I remember us talking about it and ending at that time that we were gonna charge that rate, but I didn't, you know, I don't back up much.
Well, even the next line in the letter, this one, it says, with an understanding that the future council reserves the right to revisit.
As needed. I just
Okay.
heard the financial report on the water system. I bet you all have spent next to nothing on the maintenance out there. It's a brand-new system, built to spec. And
So,
I feel like this is cynical politics, because you can do this to people who don't vote in this town, and I think that's what you're taking advantage of, and you're ignoring a commitment the town made.
sir, there was no commitment in that 30%. It's a very reasonable rate.
No, it's not.
Tell me what you know about our water system and the finances. What about the $1.9 million project we're going to be voting on tonight?
That's not the issue, Mr. Foy. The issue is
You're
what
the
you
one
all
that referenced
committed to.
our finances.
Well, we just heard a report from Robbie. Wasn't that a very favorable report?
Of course it was, and we take a lot of pride in keeping things reasonable
He
around
also
here.
didn't address the money we spent over hydrants, water meters, things like that, you know, pressure, cleaning. I mean, there's things that go into the entire system that may not be physically on your property, but they affect the entire system as it flows. And we've spent a ton of money on maintaining the system. In fact, we're getting ready to vote on cleaning the tank tonight, which who knows what that's going to cost. But so, you know, we're not sitting here neglecting our system and sitting on a pot full of money and just letting the system go by. We're putting money into it every time we vote. So,
Robbie, when you get it, I know you can't do it tonight. Will you make me a copy of that tape? We got a tape for that meeting.
What is the date of this meeting? I'm
Not sure. Let's find out.
It was October the 13th of
I'll
22.
go back and listen. I'll be fair and go back and listen to what was said.
So it was a special called meeting. I see there's a special called meeting on December the 13th, 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry, that one. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right, December.
Yeah, I'd like to listen to it. These guys might too, so, I mean, I'll go back and listen to it.
Well, thank you for hearing me, and thank you for your consideration.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Gentlemen, Adair Bolton at 6711 Coldwater Terrace, also in this development. With due respect, this has been something that we've researched since 2019. We have a number of folks in the community who have been assured since the beginning that we put in a water system. These people love Stokesdale. They want to be a part of Stokesdale. Our desire was to do something good for Stokesdale. And so installing the infrastructure of a $462,000 water system is a large project for us. It was not in our financial interest necessarily. It was important to our residents to be a part of Stokesdale, to be near Stokesdale, to be members of Christmas parades and those sorts of things, to be in the parks and rec system, to play ball at Stokesdale. And these folks love Stokesdale. We've asked them not to attend this meeting because we wanted to share with you all personally first. And so if you all would consider the infrastructure that we've installed, that's the only thing that I would add to that conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay. We have a public hearing, proposed revisions to the Town of Stokesdale Development Ordinance. I declare the public hearing is open. I will open the floor to anyone in the audience who would like to publicly speak in favor of the proposed revisions of the Town of Stokesdale Development Ordinance.
And for the record, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to point out that these proposed changes have been available for public inspection. They've been available on the website. And they've been circulated widely and have been available previously.
Okay, very good. Um, No one? I'd like to open the floor for anyone that'd like to speak in opposition. I declare the hearing, proposed revisions to the Town of Stokesdale Development Ordinance is closed. Make a motion to close the meeting? Is that right?
We close the hearing.
Excuse me, close the hearing? Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion and a second?
Aye.
Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
And I am aye. All right. Next item is new
Well,
business. I'm
if I
sorry.
could,
What about,
so the matter rests with council now, and I thought I'd just give a kind of a brief background
Please,
of that, and then
please.
I'll have a few motions.
please?
In 2024, the town council made a priority to review the developmental ordinance to ensure that we were in full compliance of NC 160D. The process included hiring the Piedmont Triad Regional Council for consultation, utilizing Guilford County Planning, and any recommendations by our town attorney. There were several gaps that were needed to be closed to ensure that our ordinances were in full compliance. I'm pleased to say that that work has already been done. So we're here tonight to review the recommendations made by either the town attorney, the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, or Guilford County. These are just recommendations involving our ordinance. So with that, I'd like to pass out just a discussion guide for you guys. And before I dive into this, I just kind of want to talk about the process and how our planning board just really give a lot of kudos to those guys. This has been a process. There were several planning board meetings dedicated to this. There was a joint work session between the planning board and the town council, and that lasted 4 hours. And goodness, they're saints for being able to sit through that and do that. We've got a great planning board. Just to recognize them: Chris Sumner, Stephen Louie, Curtis Gentry, Andrea Myler, T. Stevenson, and Ronald Southern. We're very good. They're a very good board. I think they've given us a solid recommendation on the ordinances. If you guys could look at the document, the discussion guide I just passed out, this is just simply cutting and pasting the 74 proposed changes on a list that Chuck prepared for us back in July, and I've somewhat color-coded them here. So if they're color-coded in green, that means they've already been taken care of and now been adopted by the town council and now part of our ordinance. However, there are also areas that are highlighted yellow. These have to do with the recommendations made by our attorney, made by Guilford County Planning, and made by the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. I have not highlighted all these bullet points yellow. The yellow signifies that the planning board has made the recommendation that the town council make these changes to our ordinance. I think they've done a remarkable job. My motion is going to be to agree with these changes. I've broken up my motion into 3 different areas. The first area being part 2 off this, and this is just simply to correct any errors that are in our ordinance. Right? For example, Piedmont Triad Regional Airport, we call it still Greensboro or Winston-Salem Airport, so updating the name. I would say the changes are administrative and minor. But with that being said, I do have a motion. I move to correct the errors and implement the recommended changes listed under Part 2 for the section pertaining to, and now I'm going to list the ordinance numbers. 143-13.4B as in boy, 4-11.3A2, 5-5.1, and 6-4-53. So those are the changes under Part 2 that are included in this motion to update.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Floyd, do you want to, it may be helpful to say an effective date. For the earlier ones, we had said January 1st, 2026.
Yes, sir.
Is that when you'd like to, I guess we need to specify an effective date for that.
And I'm fine with, is that your recommendation?
Yes, if we can get everything codified, and I guess that's gonna be the next
With-
question.
With the amendment that the effective date be January 1, 2026.
And then my also understanding was that the staff was dealing with the American Legal Publishing, in order to actually incorporate these changes into to actually publish these ordinances. So it may be helpful just to say that staff is to work with American Legal Publishing to make that happen.
Okay. And I'll amend my motion to say staff is to work with American Legal Publishing.
Sounds good.
So that's one out of 3 motions.
Second it. Second the motion. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
And I am aye.
All right, so the next part is Part 3. These are changes proposed by Mr. Chuck Winfrey, our town attorney. So I'm going to make a motion to implement the recommended changes from the town attorney listed under Part 3 for the section pertaining to 3-13.2, 6-1.3, 6-1.1, and 8-3.
I'll second the motion.
And the same with, to instruct staff to work with American Legal.
And to be effective as of January 1st, 2026.
Yes, sir.
I second the motion. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
And I am also aye. Mr. Foy?
The last motion I'll have pertains to the recommendations from Mr. Avery too, with Guilford County Planning, and also the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. This is under Part 4 of this section, so I'm going to move to implement the recommended changes from Guilford County Planning and the Piedmont Triad Regional Council listed under Part 4 for this section pertaining to 3-11.2, 4-3.1, 4-10.5, A2 through A4. So that's A2, A3, and A4 with that. We have 4-10.5B as in boy, 5.5-5.2, 5-6.3, 6-4.94, E3, AII. And let's see here. Is that it? No, sir. 6-4.94, E4, and 9-8.4. Same, January 1st, and staff update with American Legal. And yeah, that's my final motion, and just want to commend the planning board for all the time and energy they had in with this project. And the motions that I make correlate with the planning board's recommendation.
I'll second the motion. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
And I am aye. I might add, this is not a rubber stamp by any means. They've gone through it and with a lot of thought.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
the
thank
4-hour
you.
work session was just
Thank you
the
very
start.
much. Thank you very much,
As did-
Planning Board. Okay. Our next item is new business. Consideration of cost proposal for washout and condition assessment of Town of Stokesdale elevated water storage tank. Mr. Foy?
The American Water Works Association states that the best practice in a recommendation to wash out the elevated water tanks between 3 and 5 years, so we're due. And we're fortunate to have Mr. Scotty Wilkins of Utility Services Company with us tonight. I've invited Scotty with us here. Scotty lives in Summerfield, works out of Madison. So just to talk about his company, to talk about, the clean out project, but I'm also interested in learning more about what you do in terms of a long-term maintenance plan where we can better.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll first just discuss the washout, the simple procedure where you guys are responsible for draining the water storage tank. We come in here with the 3-man crew, all OSHA certified, and we have SOPs for confined space, disinfection, to comply with AWWA standards. Once we get into the tank, we test the air quality, make sure it's safe for our personnel to go inside and operate and work. Washing out the tank, we remove all the manganese, iron. You may have some sand, some particulates. It's natural organic material in the ground. You guys are surface water or groundwater? Groundwater, correct?
Surface.
Surface. And where are you purchasing your water from?
Winston-Salem.
Okay. And so probably is less manganese and iron, but you still would have particulates, especially if it's been over 3 years. Once we get done cleaning out the vessel, then we go to AWWA spray method number 2, where we disinfect all the surfaces where water comes in contact. It's a 30-minute contact time. Once we get down to the ground, it's probably about 30 minutes. You guys will fill up the water storage tank. When the level is full, and I forget, is Carl your water guy? Who's
Gary.
Gary.
Gary
Okay.
Machunas.
Yeah, so at that point in time, once the tank is full, then you guys pull a state-run back T sample. You send that off to the lab. What lab do you all comply with?
We use PACE.
Okay, so once you send it to PACE, it's 18 to 24 hours. Once the back T sample comes back good, you can put the tank back online to your distribution system. Typically, a tank that size, and we're coming out of Madison, we're approximately 15 minutes from here. So, and I'm 8 minutes from here. And I will be on site with the crew. Once it's complete, we will be doing a basic condition assessment. I'll probably have one of our NACE certified inspectors with me. We'll be looking at the structural integrity, coating, safety, sanitary, any OSHA compliant issues, and give you guys a scorecard, kind of where you are based on industry standards. And that would probably generate another meeting where I would come out here. We could do a workshop or we can do a formal meeting. I personally like workshops because we can roll up our sleeves and get to the nitty gritty and look at the information. And then you guys will have basically a complete comprehensive report on the condition of your asset. That asset in today's marketplace is probably about $2.5 million. I know these folks back here from Hazen. Do you guys do fabrication? So they would tell you the cost of these water tanks has gone up exponentially in the last 10 years. And they're going to keep going north. So it is truly an asset that needs to be maintained in more of a proactive approach than a reactive approach. And so that's as far as the tank. And I think Mr. Foy wanted me to give you kind of a 30,000-foot view of who we are and what we do in the industry. One, we're local. If you have that flash drive, if you want to. So let's go to the next one. This is just kind of an agenda, annual partnerships, meetings, inspections, repairs, renovations. Some of our key attributes are safety, emergency service. So, for example, if someone shoot a bullet hole in your tank under the asset management, we're out here within 24 hours. Once again, it's your responsibility to drain the tank. We would actually weld it up, patch it up, disinfect it, put it back online. There's no additional cost. It's all under an umbrella of asset management. You have communications. We talked about a little bit, Mr. Foy, about telco. One thing, I've been here 26 years with the company, and one of the biggest problems we had early on, 1999, 2000, was Verizon, AT&T. Well, back then it was Singular, Bell South, some of the carriers that were their names at that point in time, because it was so hard to get zoning approved to build a 300-foot tower. A lot of times they would try to run through the water tanks because they're already built, the structure's in place. They don't have to go through all that zoning. And we found them hanging cables, antennas all over the tank. It was creating safety issues for myself and our team. Also, it was hard to maintain the asset. So we started to, ourselves and tower engineering professionals out of Raleigh, our engineering team, their engineer, put together best practices on if, in fact, a board wants to entertain a Verizon or an AT&T or T-Mobile, that's fine, but they had to comply to our standards, AWWA standards, industry standards, because the first premise of this water tank is to serve good quality potable water. That's your charge as a commissioner or a board. And so we want to assure that that stays intact, but also the fact that you could generate a revenue. Like I say, I'm all over the state of North Carolina. We've seen revenues. Raleigh probably generates $500,000 of revenue, right? So a lot of times municipalities will take that, put it back into their enterprise fund to pay for other utilities, subsidize the cost of an asset management program. So there's a lot of flexibility what you do with those funds. And the negotiation is really between yourself the carrier, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and your attorney, I could help guide you on some language and show you contracts from Raleigh, from Jacksonville, all the different municipalities that have already kind of put together a best practice contract that protects you guys and the water tank. And once again, for us, it's more important from an engineering standpoint and a maintenance. We want to make sure that the maintenance of the tank doesn't cost you any more by adding these people to your tank. For example, let's say you generate $24,000 a year, but it costs you $24,000 more to maintain it because of the way they went up on the tank. So we want to assure that doesn't happen. We want to mitigate some of that and the risk that goes with it. Quality and customer service. Yeah, go to the next one. The next one. So this is just our team that you have access to. Myself, I've been here 26 years. Tony Kine is our service center manager. He's been here 26 years out of Madison, North Carolina. David Forrest, the vice president. We've been together for about 25 years. Apor Agarval, he's one of our engineers. He's on our steel tank side. We have probably 10 different engineers in-house. Kerry Houck, he's a director out of Charlotte. And Rick Smith, he's a maintenance manager. He would be the gentleman who would coordinate your washouts, inspection, things of that nature. He's also been here about 20 years. Inspector Jamie Murray, he's a local guy out of the Madison area. He's a NACE certified CIP, that's for concrete certification. And NACE 3 peer review is the highest certificate for a coatings inspector in the industry. We have probably about 125 of them on staff, and probably 5 here locally. Elena Hampton, she's last but by no means least. She is our customer service professional. She works with the administration for municipalities. She is a rock star. She has all the data, all the information. She could pull up anything at any given time for any of our municipalities in the state of North Carolina, but all over the South. Next. This just gives you a footprint. Those are service centers that we operate out. I think we have 12. Our second biggest ones here in North Carolina. We were father-son bred here in 1963. And the other ones are WSCs. I'm considered what would be a water system consultant. So my job is to be your advocate and to put information in front of the board so you can make an informed and educated decision as it relates to your assets. Next. Typically, I think that's 2024. We did over 850 major remediation projects. A lot of those are lead abatements, containments, things of that nature. That's 5,000. So we have 5,000 customers that are under our asset management program around the country. We're in about 45 states. And 600, I don't have my cheaters on. So we did 6,700 washouts and visual inspections within our regions. We have tanks that are over 100 years old. Think about, and these guys could probably relate from an engineering perspective, if you have a carbon steel and you have a barrier on the inside and the outside and you protect that steel substrate, the tank can last in perpetuity. We have tanks in the system that are over 100 years old. 60 years of providing asset management, our company, actually 62 now. We have over 120 plus crews around the country. We run probably 25 out of North Carolina. We have dedicated crews. We have third-party crews. We have in-house crews, certified pipe welders. So we have a variety of different services and personnel to be able to deliver the services that we discuss. Next. That's just a picture of our service center. We would welcome the board to come out there and do a site walk. It's extremely impressive. You know, one thing that we really pride ourselves on is the safety. However, also, when we blast the inside of a tank or perform the scope of work, you have abrasives that have to be disposed of properly. We operate under the T-clip sample where we have a chain of custody. We have to be responsible. We take that to the landfill. It has to be delivered and disposed of properly. You guys get a certification stating that it was disposed of properly. That way, back in the old day, like I said, I've been here a while, we did things a lot differently in the 90s where you'd find things just being dumped wherever. And the problem with that is some of that could be traced back to you, the town. You own that abrasive. We're responsible for getting rid of it and dispose of it, but it's your tank, it's your coating system, it's your asset. We're there to help manage it for you. Next. Oh, I think that right there, you don't have to go back to it. We're 15 minutes literally from our service center to here. It's 15 minutes. Um, so this is really something that's important. Once again, risk management has become important to you guys as a municipality. And so we try to partnership with you to mitigate risk, to lower your risk. And one of the things that we've done very well, we have over 10 million square feet we painted in 2024. In 2024, over 900,000 man hours, we had 0 lost time accidents in 2024. Now, I don't know if you guys understand what that means, but that is a big number. Okay? Our EMR, experience modification rating, anything below a 1 is considered top shelf. And we're at 0.82 in 2024. We look like we're on track to maintain that number. It's TRIR, it's total removable or recordable injury rate. It's 1.76, which is very, very low in 2024. And we're on track to probably do better than that. Next. So we have qualified coatings inspectors that monitor our projects. So they're there on every phase. They would work with Gary. So through every phase of the project, they would discuss with him where we are. They have documentation, pictures. So you guys are engaged. And they could also share that with the board. So you guys are informed. That way, if your citizens have questions or concerns, you guys are educated and informed through the whole process. You don't get blindsided. And I'm not here to say we're perfect because we paint enough cars and houses in my 26 years that I care to talk about. But we do everything we can to mitigate those kind of risks, and we're very transparent, very open when we do our projects. This is where the rubber hits the road. We're the only company in the country that has an ISO certification for professional services. What that means is that you've seen manufacturers that have ISO certification for a mic, a podium. This means that after the end of our fiscal year, we have an audited by ISO certified personnel that comes in. They look at all our contracts, all the scope of work. I think that one said like 850 renovations. And they make sure that that marries the certification, the ISO certification that they gave us. We had to comply with that. So we have a lot of checks and balances. Once again, we are by no means perfect, but we put a lot of things in place to assure you guys, one, you're getting value for the service that's being provided, and the value is the money that you're providing or paying for those services. Once again, this is, I could tell they were in town last week in Atlanta as one of our corporate offices because everyone up there was walking around like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs because it's kind of aggravating when these guys come in and they break out every single report. And like I said, we're doing over 5,000 tanks a year. It's a lot to take in. So that is something that also separates us from the rest of the pack. Next. This is just our approach to a project. Once again, partnerships, inspections, repairs, renovations. Next. So we usually have a kickoff meeting, like before the project starts, ourselves, Gary. Typically board members aren't there, but if a board member wants to be there, it's an open tent. Come and listen and learn. We discuss, after that, we just talk about lessons learned. Once again, sometimes it's something on your side or our side, but we always do a debriefing. We want to get better. We want our partners to get better, and together we can provide seamless projects at the end of the day. Midterm meetings, I go by my customers probably anywhere from 2 to 4 times a year. Obviously here, 8 minutes away, it's pretty easy. I could be here in 10 minutes. And any other additional needs that you guys may have as it relates to the industry. We've been here a long time. We have a lot of partners, and we like to help educate and inform and to work with you guys. Even if it's outside of what we do, we have partners from Hayes and Sawyer, Wooten Company, different engineering firms that we've been with a long time. Next. This is typically a visual inspection. It just talks about DENR, OSHA, AWWA, NACE. These are the folks, these are kind of the scorecard that we're going to abide to when we're looking at your water storage tank. Washout, once again, every 2 to 5 years. Typically in North Carolina, a lot of our customers do it every 2 years. One of the reasons is if you have sediment built up, manganese, iron, things of that nature, over time, it can become bacteriologically charged. At 77 degrees water temperature, when that thermal loading hits that steel substrate, starts to heat up, the water starts to foul at the top end. Okay, so what would happen if you were to break a main and you were to suck all that dead water into your distribution, you get some odor or taste concerns from your citizenry. And so that's one reason is water quality. The other one, if we're responsible for your assets, so this is your water storage tank, you own it, but it's under our risk management. And so if something happens inside that tank, we want to be able to get into it routinely so we can touch it up and keep it in a proactive posture instead of a reactive posture. Next. And the bottom one said sometimes we have drought situations. We have a lot of automation now, robotics and ROV, where it's a robotic operating vehicle that we can dive into your tank. It complies with NSF standards, which is National Sanitation Foundation. We go in there and it kind of cruises around. It's actually pretty cool. If you've ever played Xbox or things of that nature, we got a little toggle, and you go in there and you look and takes pictures and everything. That's something that if you guys are having an off year or you have a big project going on, you don't feel comfortable taking your tank offline, we can go in with a robotic. We also have drone technology. I don't know if you guys in our industry, maybe not so much with the engineering side of the house, but finding resources. It's tough to find men and women in this culture today that want to work. I don't know if you guys here in the audience have experienced that, but
No, nobody, we don't have that kind of problem.
you don't see a lot of people want to read meters or water and sewer and operators. So we're turning to a lot of automation in what we do. We also still have a lot of succession planning and a good bullpen of young men and women that want to work, but it's finding new help. 18-year-olds has been tough over the last 5 years. Next. Just repairs, all kind of repairs are all included in from manways, hatches, safety climbs, level indicators, the appurtenances of the water tank. Next. Interior, it's similar to the outside except for we would be blasting it to bare metal. And once again, that's a little bit longer process. Just for your edification, if at some point in time we get to the point where your interior needs to be blasted to bare metal, that's a 4 to 6 week downtime. And so that tank will be offline for 4 to 6 weeks. So a lot of planning, a lot of diligence needs to be put in place prior to that scope of work. And a lot of times what we do is we educate and inform as we're getting closer. We're starting to have more meetings. We're testing your system to see how it operates offline, and that would be directly with Gary. He seems like he's pretty knowledgeable. I've not met him, but I know the name, so I know he's very capable. Our team and him would work together on a plan that would be as seamless as possible to take it offline for that kind of scope of work. Next. Interior renovation, it's more of the same. Once again, we're going to have all the pieces to the puzzle put in place, and a lot of redundancy and a lot of contingencies in place to make sure we can provide the best service for you guys. God bless you. Next. So this is just some of the things that are provided. Safety, emergency services, the communication, telecommunications, quality customer service, engineering, and AMI services. That's advanced metering infrastructure. I think someone mentioned meters up here. We provide a complete array of different metering, but one thing's a little bit different. We're agnostic. That means we're not a Badger fan, we're not a Master Meter fan, we're not a Neptune fan. We basically look at all the technology, and we truly operate as a consultant. We lay them all up on the screen with cost, and we break them down, pros and cons. We stole it. Generally, it's probably the most world-renowned metering specialist. His name's Andre Noel. He's Canadian/English. He retired 10 years ago. We drug him out of retirement. He was a Neptune engineer, designed a lot of their higher-end metering. And basically, he also worked for Veolia Suez. He was on your side. He ran 20 different utilities around the country where he was, they call it a revenue management director, where he would look at the technology and discern what was the best application for each utility. And so he's now on our team, and he leads that division. Next. Once again, every time we're on a site, you'll see this at the washout inspection. This will be on the site. The site is basically, we lock it down. Unless you have your PPE, we can't allow you on the site because that's something that is a safety issue. Now, if you guys have your hard hat and your glasses, more than welcome to come. Let's talk about it. Let's look at everything. We had a situation a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. It was in Greensboro, the city of Greensboro. It was a water tank. We were blasting and painting. We had 30 minutes to finish. A third-party inspecting firm came out there. They had personnel from the city of Greensboro, a young lady, I think, and two young men. And they said, we want to get up on the tank. We want to demonstrate how to climb. These folks had never climbed a tank before. And we said, look, we got a half hour. Let us just finish and we're done. We'll walk off the site. And so they basically pressed the issue. They wanted to do it because they had a short window of time. We brought our whole crew down. We stepped outside of the site. You know where I'm going with this. About 5 to 15 minutes later, we hear this yelling and screaming. The girl slipped. Her safety claim didn't hold. She snapped her neck and she died. Oh. Okay, so it is really, really serious for us. And so, you know, I can't emphasize enough the PPE, personal protective equipment. And if you guys have it, we're more than welcome you guys on the site. But if you don't, we'd ask you to just stand down, or we'll leave the site. We'll step outside the gate, and the site is yours. And it's a liability for us. And that's why we do that, because we've been doing this a long time, and we want to protect everyone, ourselves, our customers, our clients, even third-party inspectors. Next. Once again, 15 minutes. Can't say it enough. Emergency services, 24 hours. If something happens to your asset, there's no additional cost. Now, if it's act of God or something like that, we can't control that. But if a weld seam was to split or something like that, we'll be out here repairing it, fixing it for you, no additional cost. So there are really no change orders to this service. We get all that out of the front. The contract that you guys will potentially procure, I can promise it's going to be different in Rockingham County. It's going to be different in Madison. It's going to be different in Reedsville. It's going to be different in Eden. We manage all these assets along this area locally, all the way into Randleman, Asheboro. And every single contract is different because we're going to customize this to meet your needs, not my needs, what you guys need, what's important to you. We can scale it up or we can scale it down. And so it's really a customized approach to asset management. Next. This just talks about myself, local. Tony's out of Cary, but he works in our service center here. He runs it. Jamie, he's local out of the Madison area. Like I say, we had daily meetings and communication with our clients. Next. Telecommunications, we've already touched on this. I told Mr. Foy, I'll go ahead and if that's something the board would be interested in, I'll call the carriers. I know a lot of them have been doing it a long time. I'll get them the physical address. It's location, location, location. It really is. I mean, you know, we are seeing a giant agenda by the federal government to build out networks throughout the country. So we are seeing a greater need and desire for these telco companies to build out in the smaller areas. And right across the street, you got Southridge, or kind of dyslexic where Southridge is, but we helped get T-Mobile on that tank, and we've also just got done blasting and painting it recently. And so we've installed it in a manner that we could still blast and paint and work and maintain that asset for I think it's Mr. Garfield and Mr. Mark, who's, I believe, a commissioner in Rockingham County. Next. Once again, just emphasize in ISO. So, you know, we have over 5,000 clients, and we have 98% customer service rate. We're not perfect, but we're pretty darn good. Next. Licensed engineer, we have, like I say, about 10 of them. They see every time I turn around, they're bringing on someone else. Jason's our senior engineer. He does all, one thing, permit, I meant to mention that. So through any kind of renovation, change, modification to the interior or exterior, we have to go through DQ and submit a permit. And we do all that on your behalf. There's no cost for that. We handle all that paperwork for you. Potential challenges, isolate. The one thing that says isolating your tanks, we work very closely with our clients to help them understand how to drain their tanks. We don't know your distribution. We don't turn valves and hydrants, but we will work very closely with your personnel to be able to drain that tank and take it offline safely. Here's a big one right here, the bottom one. HAAs, THMs. I know your folks, you know, PFAS and the Gen X, and it's kind of crazy out there. But we have technology that can mitigate those, keep you guys at a good water quality, residual loss. A lot of times in the summertime, your residual drops. You know, one thing you got to maintain a certain residual. How long is your transmission main? How long is the
Coming from Winston.
I mean? Yeah, so think about this, you know, the time it leaves where the source is, that's a long way to travel to maintain a residual. And so in the summertime, things can get kind of wonky because of the heat and so forth. But we have technology that can help you that out of the tank, not distribution, but out of the tank. Next. That's just one picture. We got multiple technologies when it comes to mixing. We've really expanded that, but that actually turns the water over. So a 300,000 gallon tank, we could probably turn that over 12 times in 24 hours. And I don't mean just a bit. I mean 300,000 gallons turned over 12 times in 24 hours. Real quick, because I know you guys got other people you got to talk to. Sorry, Andy. So think about stratification. If this is your water tank, it is full of water, right? We believe in what's called a clean glass theory. If we can keep the sediment out, mitigate some of the particulates in that water, epoxy coating has nothing inherent that interacts with byproducts, right? That's from organics. And so when your tank is full in the summertime at 77 degrees, what happens, I'm assuming, is that tank bottom fed? So the water comes from the bottom and goes all the way, does it have an inlet go all the way to the top, or is it stubbed at the bottom? Do you guys know that?
Stubbed at the bottom.
So it's, okay, in and out? Okay. So what happens is, think about this. Everyone ever heard of Michael Phelps? One of the greatest Olympians ever graced the Olympic pool. One of his trade secrets was that he used to swim in 55-degree water. Colder water is more dense, almost like syrup or molasses. The hotter the water, the lighter. So think about when you guys are out in the lake and you're hanging out and you're swimming, you go too deep, you're like, woo, a little cold on your toes, right? Okay, same thing, same phenomenon. So you have the colder water that's pushing in. So what's happening is this water here is a dead slug. When this colder water goes into the tank, it's like a big blanket. Pushes it up, comes back down. So first in, first out. So all summer long, you got a dead slug of water just sitting there. And now it could be growing bacteriological elements. It could just be dead water. A lot of different things that could be going on there. And so we feel that if you're mixing it 24/7, it's constantly moving, perpetual. You don't have to worry about the residual because the same residual down here, let's just say 2.0, it's going to be the same up here. It homogenizes. It becomes the same quality. Whereas in the summertime, I don't care if it's here, South Carolina, wherever, every single customer has that same challenge. Now, a lot of times they may have an inlet that goes all the way up, and the water kind of cascades out, and they got an outlet at the bottom where it kind of pulls. That helps to turn it over a little bit. But outside of that, you're going to have a dead slug of water in the summertime. Next. Conclusion. Next. Just says who we are. 62 years of history, father-son-owned business. We're owned by a big corporation now. Carl and Steven, I worked with them directly for years. They're out of Perry, Georgia. They sold the company, and we have some of the best leadership we've had in the last 10 years with our company. Once again, you know, we're positioned to help you guys with all your water quality challenges and to maintain your asset safety, local service center, local personnel, customer service, engineering. We're a turnkey solution. Next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry if it took so.
No, no problem.
It's
Let me-
very informative.
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
Do you have any idea what a contract might run for a town our size with what we have as far as the infrastructure that you would take care of?
So that's a great question. Because it's so customized.
I'm not asking for a commitment. I just,
Yeah. So we have costs. The tank, how long ago was it painted? 5 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Back in the middle of a paint cycle. So typically, the exteriors are painted every 10 years on the exterior, interiors are 14. So you got a little bit more life on the interior. Plus, you know, we talked about this. I don't want to offend anyone, but who decided on the color scheme on that tank?
nobody here will take credit for it, so.
Well, so think about this. Your cars, we got a darker car. You go to sit in, turn it up. It's lighter. The cloth or material's lighter. It's not as hot. The UV, what happens is it heats up that steel, and it bakes the pigments out on darker colors. We like to stick to like the tank whites, the anemic whites. It's just a cleaner. The UV rating is like 85%. And another thing that a lot of time boards and folks don't think about, when the darker the tank, okay, and it's beating on it, what's it doing to that steel? It's called thermal loading. It's heating it up. The steel doesn't really cool down exponentially. It actually stays about the same temperature. So what happens to the water? It's hot. So now we got kind of two issues going on. Our coating system is not going to last as long, and then the water, it could create water quality issues too because of the darker colors.
Back to my question.
Yeah.
Back to my question.
If you go with a tank like that, because we would have to do we would have to probably account for it at least in the exterior renovation. It could be anywhere from, I'm trying to think, we just costed out 500,000, that was $78,000. But once again, your coating looks like it's intact as far as the condition of it. It looks like really a good clean pressure wash would probably help out. So it could vary from a base, if that tank was brand new, a 300,000 gallon tank, probably $12,000 a year. Brand new tank, the easiest tank to maintain. And then those fees, that 12,000 is going into engineering, washouts, inspection, structural
Okay,
integrity.
so ours isn't.
Isn't what?
Isn't brand new. So what are we looking at? 15?
Well, no, but once again, I would have to do the numbers.
Okay, I'm not asking for a commitment. I just a general idea.
For annual fee,
Yeah.
without any kind of work being done, just the basic maintenance.
I'm not sure even what I'm asking.
Difficult question.
I'm not even sure what I'm asking.
So, for example, if we're going to do the exterior, we're not going to the interior. You're probably looking at $15,000 for the first 5 years, and then it would drop down.
Okay, all right.
Does that give
Fair
you
enough.
So
Fair
once
enough.
again, so we're not a bank, but we're pretty financially stable. What we typically will do is we'll spread the cost. Let me just use Madison. They had a tank, it was probably, I think, $300,000 because the whole thing had to be blasted and painted. We took that and spread that $300,000 over 5 budget cycles. No interest, our ability to do that. And then on the 6th year, it drops down to like, I think it was, I don't know, $9,000 a year, and it stays flat. Once we fix the cost, you have an inflationary adjustment not to exceed 5% annually, but typically we track at about 3% every year.
Good. And think about the travel costs you're saving too, right?
Yeah. No, look, I mean, that's big. No, really, we look at all that.
15
It all
minutes.
starts with the washout and the condition assessment, and then what we'll do is sit down and talk about what our engineers, what we feel would be in the best interest. You know, the question I would ask you guys, how long do you plan on being in the water business? 10 years, 5 years, 100 years? Are we here to stay? Is that asset going to be a part of your system?
We don't want to have to rebuild that tower.
What's that?
We don't want to have to rebuild that tower. And any of our successors don't want to either.
And so we would look at it with a long-term approach, and that's the kind of coatings, and that's the recommendation we would make. I was just in Newport. They got a tank that it's probably got 3-4 more years. I was like, I wouldn't invest a lot of money I do what you need to be within standards, but I wouldn't do anything past that because they're going to cut it down in 3 years and build a 500,000 gallon one.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ms. Foy, you've got anything?
Definitely a lot to absorb. I want to I want to commend you on your safety record. That was key.
Thank you.
The lost time incidents, and
Yep.
I appreciate you sharing that with us as well.
Right.
I think from an initial standpoint, I like the idea. It's been 5 years since we've had the tank drained and cleaned. So I'd like to start out with that washout. So I'm going to make a motion to accept the bid from Utility Services Company dated November 10th, 2025, in the amount of $2,750 from the Contract Operations Water Enterprise line item for services outlined in Exhibit A of the proposal, including the washout of the elevated tank, conditional assessment of the tank,
Right.
and also the maintenance planning. So thank you for that proposal.
Yep.
Thank you for the presentation, and
Okay.
we look forward to.
And our attorney talked to your attorney, and we're good?
Yep, I think so. Yeah, we did make a change on Exhibit B. There was under paragraph L, we did strike one sentence that was related to indemnification by the town for damages that the company might suffer. So there was a constitutional question about that, so we've stricken that one sentence.
That's right. And it's not stricken in your packets. That was fixed today, but on the
Okay.
contract that would be signed, that's been stricken from the contract.
And the two attorneys are happy?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, do we need to give the mayor authority to sign the contract?
Always.
Okay,
It's implied, brother.
okay. I'll second the motion. I'm the first one to go to jail, too.
That's right.
I second the motion. Is there any discussion? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
I'm also aye. Let's take a 5-minute break, if you would, please. It is 25 after 8. We'll be back about 8:31.
Unless you want to.
Oh, Lord, mercy.
Hey, Avery. How are you, sir? I'm well, sir. Thank you. Good. Thanks for coming. If you must.
We hate as you came. Now,
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you
I
for
was
coming.
worried about you coming and then This meeting again, too.
Next item is consideration of contract award for North Carolina 65 and Coldwater Main Extension Project at in the town of Stokesdale. Mr. Foy?
Okay, would like to talk first about the construction contract. We opened the sealed bids, I believe it was last week, Robbie? They all run together, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. It was
We opened the sealed
last
bids.
Wednesday.
We were fortunate to have 4 different vendors propose bids, and my heartfelt gratification or gratitude is extended to all those. I know that involves a lot of work. Now, for the record, I would like to announce what the bids came in for all 4 different contractors in alphabetical order. We have Classic City Mechanical. The bid was $1,856,469. Maintaining America, the bid came in at $3,333,425. Sam W. Smith, Inc., the bid came in at $2,867,485. And lastly, Yates Construction, the bid came in at $3,550,786.26. Also extend my gratitude for Hazen and Sawyer for managing the bid process in itself. They have given us a letter of recommendation based off their analysis and what they know of these contractors. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to accept the proposal from Classic City Mechanical Incorporated for the NC 65 and Coldwater water main in the amount of $1,856,469 to be paid from the Water Enterprise Fund using the Guilford County ARPA grant. This is the lowest responsible bidder and comes at the recommendation of our engineering firm, Hazen and Sawyer, on a document dated November the 10th, 2025, to the town of Stokesdale, recommending the award of the contract to Classic City Mechanical.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion?
Mr. Mayor, a few things I'd like to point out about the contract, if I might.
Please.
Take a few minutes. As Mr. Foy said, the contract contemplates using ARPA funds to pay for the construction, and those funds have to be expended by the end of December of 2026. And the contract is written calls for substantial completion of this project by the contractor by November 1st of next year. Final completion by December 1st of next year, and then final payment by December 15th of next year. So we would meet the deadlines that currently exist for the ARPA spending to happen. So those dates kind of hardwired into the contract to say that those are the dates that are going to be performed. And then we'll be paying, as work progresses, we'll be receiving invoices by the 10th of each month for the previous month's work, and they'll be processed once we receive those progress payments. We'll be making progress payments.
Do you have something you need to add?
No, I'm just here to answer questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Representative Hayden and Sawyer, and just to kind of reiterate what Chuck was saying, you guys were very in tune to the deadlines associated with the grant monies, and all 4 of these bids, is it my understanding they came in with a clear understanding that, there was a deadline?
Yes.
Associated with this.
100%. So as Mr. Winfrey mentioned, those dates are written into the contract, and we did have.
Would you mind identifying yourself, please?
I'm sorry. My name's Andy Larrick. I'm a project manager with Hazen and Sawyer. I work with Aaron Babson in our Greensboro office.
Thank you.
But yes, those dates were emphasized throughout the bid process. We had a pre-bid meeting 2 weeks before the bid opening, and those dates were clearly communicated to all the contractors.
Wonderful.
And the other thing I would like to briefly point out is that the cost to them, there'll be two other expenses, one of which we know, one of which we don't know. The other expense will be the other item on the agenda dealing with the management of the project. So that's not included in this price, is the management. So there'll be a separate contract with additional cost for Hazen to be the manager of this project. And then
Do we have an estimate of that?
yeah, yes, we do,
Okay.
yes. But then the other expense that we don't know the cost of exactly is the cost of acquiring right-of-way. There are 5 or 6 lots
Right.
where we have to acquire right-of-way from property owners to build it as designed. And so that cost is not included in these prices.
Okay.
We don't know what that price is at this point.
Very good.
Okay.
Anything else?
And the good news is there's still room in the ARPA budget for unknown expenses
That's
like this, several $100,000.
That's right.
So very, feel very good about where we are. We are on a tight timeline, but everybody knows that.
Right,
But we're keeping the expense down too.
right.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
And I am also aye.
Mr. Mayor, there is a second part.
Yes, you got a second and a third, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir. Construction?
Yeah, this is the construction services management. Just kind of a backstory here for everybody. Back in February of '23, so it's been a minute. The town requested, via a formal request for qualifications, or an RFQ, letters of interest and statements of qualifications for professional services for the town of Stokesdale regarding this water line extension project. Hazen and Sawyer was one of the firms to respond to the town's RFQ on February 21st of '23 and was selected by the town based off their qualifications. Of course, we have a current contract with Hazen and Sawyer in the town for professional services such as engineering, surveying, geotechnical work, design, bid phase servicing, project management, the funding, collaboration, and service. So we've already got a contract with Hazen and Sawyer with them. Going back to that original RFQ 2 years ago, on page 2, it specifically said, the selected engineering firm will provide all surveys, designs, documents necessary for permitting, easement, acquisition, bidding, and construction. Required DEQ, and Department of Water Infrastructure documents will be prepared by the selected firm, Hazen and Sawyer. It also said the selected firm also will provide construction administration services on this project. So it was, back there in the RFQ, and that's where we are today. We have now selected a construction contractor, and we need a qualified vendor to oversee the construction services and management of that. Hazen and Sawyer has given us a proposal for such, and with that, I've got a motion to make on that as well. I'm going to make a motion that we amend the existing contract between Hazen and Sawyer and the town of Stokesdale, which was originally dated September the 14th of 2023 for the water line extension project, to accept Hazen and Sawyer's scope and fee proposal dated November the 10th of '25 for construction management and services for the Highway 65 cold water water main project, in the amounts not to exceed $270,000. This money will also be paid using the Guilford County American Rescue Plan grant.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion?
Mr. Winfrey,
Yes.
we're not under any obligation to do any kind of bidding on this kind of money?
No, because it's services, well, first off, there was a RFP earlier where we chose them to. We've gone through the informal bidding process essentially when we did that back in 2023. And because this is services under $500,000, then we have no obligation to go do any formal bidding process.
All right,
Yes,
that's what I
and that
need to
was
hear.
the request for qualifications back in '23.
Right.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
One thing I'd like to point out just briefly on this is I think we had done a previous amendment where Hazen was going to be engaging Gulf Coast Acquisitions to be dealing with the property owners to acquire the right of way. So that's rolled up in this price, but it's not, doesn't include the price to the property owner, it's just
Of
the
the
cost of negotiating with them.
Real estate, okay.
So this would be the second amendment to
Yes.
this original contract.
I'm sorry? Right, they're 270, that's right, that's right.
So,
But the previous one included the Gulf Coast acquisition. That's right.
Correct.
And the other expense that we'll have is once we've negotiated an agreement with the property owners, we'll be preparing deeds. The property owner will need to sign deeds conveying to the town of Stokesdale either a permanent utility easement or an easement for temporary construction, depending on what the needs are at the time. So there will be deeds that my office is planning to prepare based on the surveying done by Hazen.
Okay. Any further discussion? I have a motion and I have a second. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
And I am also aye. We have one more item in that, I believe, Mr. Foy.
No, sir, I believe that's it.
That covered it all. Construction, okay.
If I could, for just one moment.
Yes?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck, I would look to you for, what's the best way to?
So we have the contract, and it reminds me of the bond. I guess I need to approve, is the bond submitted?
So, yeah, I'll talk about this. So, now that y'all have voted to award the construction contract to Classic City, we'll prepare multiple copies of the project manual, which includes the contract and an assortment of other documents that need to be signed by Classic City as well as the town. Classic City will also provide a performance bond, payment bond, and a certificate of insurance. All those documents will be bound in that booklet. We will send those booklets to Classic City first for them to execute. They'll return those to us, and then we'll send those to the town for the town to also sign those documents. And then once they're fully executed, we'll get copies to the town and to Classic City.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate for our attorney to see those documents? Just maybe an electronic version of those documents as you share them with?
Yes, I've sent those to Mr. Winfrey.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got those, and I've reviewed those, and they appear to be in
Wonderful.
order. So.
Thank you, sir.
I guess the authorization to commence work, is that something that could be done now? In other words, there was a order to commence work, after the contract's signed, I'm sorry. Immediately after the contract's signed, then I guess we can do the authorization to proceed.
Yes, so first of all, we'll send a notice of award to Classic City with these booklets for them to sign to let them know officially that the contract's been awarded to them.
Right.
Once all the contracts have been executed by the contractor and the town, then we'll schedule a pre-construction meeting. And at that time, we'll agree upon a notice to proceed date,
Okay.
at which time they will begin construction and their clock will start ticking.
Okay.
Yes, so I have talked to the contractor. They're finishing up a project in Danville, Virginia right now. They're also working on a project for Hazen in Davie County, and it's probably a month away from being finished. So they're in a good position to move crews here to Stokesdale probably by mid-January.
Andy, how are we looking on availability of supplies in the marketplace?
In my conversation with Classic City, they said that they can get the materials that they need pretty quickly. So they're optimistic that they can, hit the ground running in early to mid-January.
Great. And you guys will be our boots on the ground.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I know it's a little late in the meeting, but is that microphone on?
It is on. I was just making myself a note.
Make yourself a note, please.
The microphone's on.
Don't let this happen again.
Yeah, it is on, and I'll note that it is quiet, but I have been checking with folks that are watching, and they can hear it great at home. It's just, I think we have an issue with the speakers. in
I
the
knew I
room.
shouldn't have come. That's where I should have stayed tonight, right? Okay.
But it does sound, it's picking up the noise. It's just not
I can't help
picking it out over the speakers. It's working.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Thank you, Andy.
Welcome.
Consideration of Town of Stokesdale Resolution Number R 2025-07. A resolution consenting to the addition of Honkers Hollow Drive in the crossing at North Ridge, Phase 5, subdivision to the secondary road maintenance system of North Carolina. Mr. Foy.
I'm going to make a motion that we adopt resolution number R-2025-7 as presented to us in the packet.
I'll second that motion. Do we have any discussion? I'll call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth. And I am also aye. Since we've dropped number 13, we'll open again to any public comments, if you would limit them to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to speak? Okie dokie. If no one wants to speak, then we'll go to council comments. Mr. Rigsby.
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you for everybody for coming in tonight. We do advertise our meetings in advance. We always have. So every meeting that we've talked about tonight was advertised properly and is on our website and is out there for everybody to see. So I just wanted to point that out and remind everybody of that. So we welcome people at every meeting. Sometimes we don't have very many people, but we still have to do business regardless. So thank you very much.
Mr. Foy.
Just want to thank the folks for coming out tonight, and good meeting. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Landreth.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody coming too, and a special thanks to John Bluss. That was nice of you to recognize him. That was quite a fight that he did. And I know it was other folks who had to get involved, but if he hadn't lit the match, we would still be sitting here with no money in our pocket. Well, we still haven't got it, but we will.
We hope.
Yeah.
We certainly hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little license again. I'd like to thank everyone who supported me in the last reelection. This is my last council meeting. Most especially, I'd like to thank, he's not here, so I can't really praise him too much, but Mr. Tim Jones for his support and efforts. I'm sure I would not have done nearly as well had it not been for him. I would like to point out, too, we had more votes this particular election in municipality election than we've ever had before. So it was a well-fought race. Again, my congratulations to T. Stevenson, and would remind you that Mr. Tim Jones received more votes than any other council member has ever received in a municipal election. That said, thank you all for being here. We are going to go into a closed session, and I'll need my instructions. I make a motion for the Town of Stokesdale's council to enter into a closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A36. The purposes of the closed session are as follows: to consult with the attorney employed and retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Have a first and a second? Call for the vote.
We also have the second.
I'm sorry.
Second reason too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Forgive me.
Okay.
You have to turn the page when you're doing this. To consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against an individual public officer or employee. Uh-oh. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
You do.
Oh, okay. All right. Can we?
You got me tickled over here, Mr.
Can we talk about this before we do this? Okay, Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth. You guys aren't going to have your way with me, are you? And I am I. Thank you. We'll be back.
Hey, this ain't your last meeting. still got half another one.
Are you okay, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
absolutely okay. I don't know if I'll be able to sit down anymore for a while, but I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys. At least I'm not going to jail tonight.
Well, you'll never know. You'll never know. when he
Well,
can
it is early. You got. I admit it is early. All right, let's get with it, folks. Make a motion. We come back to order in open session. Got a motion and a second. Mr. Rigsby, vote on the on reopening.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth, and I am also aye. All right. I've got a couple of announcements. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Foy's going to make a motion for us.
Yeah, wanted to recognize Chuck Winfrey, the town attorney. Just done an extraordinary job for us. He was an integral part in our development ordinance update and House Bill 305, just to list a couple things. So an extraordinary job. I'd like to make a motion that we increase Mr. Winfrey's hourly rate from $210 to $240, and that'll be effective January 1st of 2026.
Per hour.
Per hour, excuse me, yes.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I'll be quiet. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
And I am aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Council announcements, 11/20/25, regular town council board meeting, 7 p.m. What is that? Oh, planning board, okay. 11/27/2025, Stokesdale Town Hall closed due to Thanksgiving, 11/28/2025. We're also closed for Thanksgiving. December the 9th, 2025, regular town board of adjustment meeting is at 7 p.m. 12/11/2025, regular town council meeting at 7 p.m. And 12/13/2025, Stokesdale Christmas Parade at 2 p.m. Hope everybody joins us. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second? Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
And I am aye. Thank you all.
Needless to say,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
Mr. T. Mr. T.